Jak się masz? Today we are in Bronton. Exactly, we came to the place called Crow Point, where was located military assault training center, where during the Second World War the US Army and British Army trained before the D-Day happened, because those beaches are pretty much resembling what's on the other side in Normandy, so they found it quite interesting and valuable from the training point of view. We just entering the zone, which is today still a military training area. Therefore there are some restrictions. For example, I won't be able to fly a drone and show you everything from the top, and yeah, there is a few other things you cannot do in here. I don't think we will encounter any troops training today. However, yeah, this is the whole area. This is the estuary of a river Tow, so we will also go there and see how it looks like. The low tide happened this morning. Right now water is slowly retreating back, but you will have unique chance to see pretty much how much water is retreating from this area. And yeah, there is quite a big land beach or mud flats, whatever you can call it, exposed. That obviously creates a temptation to explore it and walk it, but it's not advisable, because in places like this you may encounter quicksands and also those mud patches. Obviously all the silt that the river brings in from land can be very tricky and dangerous and can just suck you in. So I did already a little bit of searching in the morning. Nothing bad happened, but yes, there are areas that I really wouldn't dare to go myself. Definitely not all the way into the water. So you can see different like patches, clearances in the bushes. That's probably where all the military equipment was stored. Nothing interesting yet. The Bronton Barrows itself is basically like a set of dunes, something more resembling the European dunes, however not exactly. I have not encountered any kind of dunes here in England like we got in Poland. Usually everything is more or less overgrown with the grass. In Poland the whole coastline pretty much, and I guess majority of Europe, is just sandy beaches that ends with the dune that is exposed sand, not covered by anything. You may have some forest at the top, but yeah, basically it's slightly different than here, but quite similar. To be honest, in Poland, in one place, we got the biggest moving dune in Europe, which is like a massive pile of sand in one place, and is just shifting, constantly shifting. Basically it's crawling inland a few meters every year. It's so massive that it presses the ground and just press the water from under itself. Here we are in some larger area. I guess that's the road that helps the military personnel come in here. We will see on the map what can we encounter here. Okay, we are already walking through the dunes itself. As you can see, there's a lot of sand under my feet. Which gives you the idea why British and US Army thought that will be a perfect training ground for the task. That's pretty much how the whole Bronton Burrows looks like. Okay, we are at the top of one of the dunes, and you can see beautifully the whole area. It's a pretty decent area to train your 4x4 driving skills. And ahead of us, Crow Point. That's where we going right now. I guess at some point perhaps we will come back here in this place and we investigate and search more. Although there is not many remained after the Second World War, but you can still see, for example, the concrete structures that were built exactly in the shape of the person carrier, so the soldiers could train once they land on a beach how to quickly evacuate from the personal carrier and take over behind the sand dunes, basically, from the German fire. I couldn't locate it from that hill. I guess one day we will come back and we'll see where it all remained, where it's still located in this area. Those are basically different fields. If you search on the internet, you will find exactly what was happening in that hole and this hole, what purpose was it serving during the training. But yeah, like I said, it's just sand dunes, bigger or smaller. I guess the trip on an e-bike would be quite nice in here. Okay, we are pretty much at the Crow Point. That's where we are right now. Those sandy islands got different name. They are not part of the Crow. I mean, they part of the Crow Point, but the Crow Point is actually here, right in this place. You can see the estuary slowly filling up. When I came here 2 hours ago, the water was way less. Now I can see from the movement of the water that it already started filling up. We'll see how long does it take to perhaps cut those islands from the land. I don't know if that happens today because we don't have the highest tide. We got actually the lowest high tide today. But let's not go forward too much. You can see what I'm walking over right now. This is covered with the little tiny layer of silt. It's actually quite slippery here, and that's what I'm talking about. You never know in which place water brings what into those sand. And yeah, what is the structure actually? Look at that. This is like a proper slip. Proper slippery zone. Okay, we try to cut through a little bit so I can show you how soft and tricky can sand be here. Here you can see the remains of the human activity. Some abandoned disintegrating boat in here. And yeah, I mean, look at that. Normally that would be already area to think very hard if you wanna cross it or not. As you can see from some marks, that sand is soft. It looks hard, but it's not really. So you can find yourself in very unpleasant situation. Okay, we going further up. Not many people was walking here, but you can see it should be relatively safe. Although you can clearly see my feet are just sinking. So it's nothing like your beach, standard beach sand. That one, I mean, look at the dog prints. Dog with the small feet leaves really deep prints. So yeah, you have to be always careful in areas like this. They may look nice and beautiful, but they actually very dangerous. Maybe very dangerous. Let's try to go around. We'll see closer to the river if the river is already filled up with the water. Nice to see that the lifeboat crew is nearby, training, but also taking care. I mean, look at that. Look at the prints I'm leaving. We got like a sandbank. Look at that sandbank. I was coming down here before. Look at that. So yeah, in places that sand can really be tricky and dangerous. And another thing to remember about in a place like this is that it's relatively flat, so the water will climb up pretty quick in here. I guess we can just watch that little island disappearing. With every wave coming. half of it is already taken. And here we are, completely disappeared. I guess if you find yourself in a situation like that, your confidence disappears and the panic kicks in way faster than that island was taken by the water. Something happened, I just wonder what, because there is a Coast Guard came here on a signal. I just wonder what is the purpose of their coming here on the beach. As you can see, we are still in an area which normally is flooded all the way up to here. Let's see if we can climb that dune and see what's interesting at the top. There is some kind of activity going on, quite a lot. I can see the lifeboat going again. We are now climbing that island, and here we are at the top of it. You can see from the top here, but it's against the sun, you can clearly see where the seawater meets the river water. I don't know if you can see that right now, because like I said, it's against the sun. Let's move to the other tip on the other side. However, I guess there will be no way down, not too much, because as far as I'm concerned, there is a wall, sandy wall on the other side. Okay, the lifeguard has disappeared. This is where we are right now. Quite a steep bank, although you can still go down. Yes. That is estuary filling up with the ocean water. The beacon. We are so close to Apeldoorn, but it takes you normally half an hour to drive there. I can see they drove to the other side of the beach. There are some structures, we can go and see what's that. I guess we still got plenty enough time to get down there before the water takes over. We will use one of those very, very sharp slopes. Job done. That is the very reason why it is prohibited in other countries to walk the dunes, because every time you do that you flatten it, you make it smaller and smaller, and eventually they disappear. And the dunes are also a part of natural sea defense, so don't necessarily do that. I did it for you, so you don't have to. Alright, we are closing on the structure, whatever that is. As you can see, within 10 minutes we walk a significant distance from the tip of Crow Point. This is already a Saunton beach. Beautiful, massive beach, way bigger than the Woolacombe. Although it is estuary of the river, I mean, you got some ocean water at this point coming into, but mainly that's the mixed river and seawater. I can presume that also are remnants of something that must serve military purposes. Solid concrete wall. Brick, I mean. That is really, really thick brick wall. Perhaps imitation of the bunker or something? Who knows? That really is massive. Quite a big dune in this place. I will try to climb in here. We're not going to Saunton today, so we have to find a way back somewhere between those dunes. Okay, that seems to be a popular spot for the local youth, I guess, making a fire. Let's find some nice path between those bushes. I think we are in a military area right now, although it's not a military restricted area. I can see people walking there. The restricted area is located, I guess, there. You can see behind the fence. Although I have no idea why is it restricted and you're still allowed to come pretty much next to it. If it wasn't for some other points far away, like the water and the houses I can see every now and then, you can really get lost in a place like this. You could walk for hours those footpaths if there was only those dunes to be seen around. No wonder it is so easy to disappear on a desert if you don't have any sort of navigation or whatever. That is like a crazy. I mean, really, if that area was way bigger, you could just walk for hours around and possibly spin around. I mean, look at that. And again, we're going down somewhere and then up and another hill. Alright, we have just entered the zone 3, which is one of the active military training grounds, and we're trying to locate those what they call landing crafts. Well, basically the personal carrier vehicle imitations. They should be somewhere around here. According to my map, I guess the sun is not in our favor. Ah, yeah, I can see that. I can see it now. Finally, that was the place I've been trying to locate on a number of occasions here. But yes, I got it finally. Basically, that was original size of the transporter. During the training, it's been enlarged for the bigger transporters they developed, and yeah, what you can see at the side was just the concrete poles, and yeah, the walls were pretty much mock-up by tarpaulin or canvas, whatever they used in that time. And yeah, that's it. And you got pretty much those beautiful, well, beautiful. It's nothing beautiful about war, but yeah, you got those structures that represent the exit. And obviously there was like a slope. Normally you got like a steel gate that opens down. And yeah, there is several of those, number of them. And that's where the boys were training. You can imagine yourself, you one of the guys in 1944 getting to be sent to Europe, fight not your own war, and yeah, the moment has come and it's go, 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 motherfuckers!
Over the side! Over here! Flying in!
That was pretty much what was happening in that place. Alright, let's not forget what we're here for. We're coming back to the estuary and we will see how much water has rise up after 1.5 hours. We left there. We are still on the field 3, which is active training area, but as you can see it's nice and quiet today. Obviously Sunday, there is no military exercises, which is nice and beautiful. Okay, from that little board I learned a few interesting things. First thing is that the Bronton Barrows is one of the largest dune systems in all Great Britain. That's the first thing. The second thing is between 1943 and 1944, 10,000 American troops were training in this area for in a preparation for D-Day invasion. Another thing is that, yeah, although it is used today still, since the Second World War, it is still used as a military training ground, there is no active shooting here anymore, because today it is pretty much like a natural nature reserve. It's not a proper nature reserve, it's an area of special scientific interest and area of outstanding beauty, but that pretty much equals with some kind of protection. Although, as you know, in England it not always means that there is no human activity whatsoever. I mean, even the cattle graze in here in order to keep it pretty much like natural state, so it doesn't change completely by overgrowing. And yeah, we are entering the estuary back again. The water is still not up, but it's definitely higher than before, as you can see on the picture. As you can see, that big island in the middle has already completely disappeared. Some of you has probably walked the beach many times or estuary of the river and seen something like this. I just learned it's called lugworm. Common lugworm, if I could remember. I was always wondering myself what leaves that looking like a poo or something. can see on the picture, after filling up with water, the estuary looks much more presentable. All the mud floods and sand disappears, all those not nice looking areas. Today we won't have a lot of water going all the way up to the bank, but yeah, usually this is just this little much of the beach that stays uncovered. Like I said, today we got the lowest high tide of the month, therefore we cannot count on much more water. Maybe another meter, maybe half. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoy that little trip. It was completely unplanned. I just decided to stop here, and yeah, that's what we visited. Another little trip over the Bronton Barrows. A nice walking area. If you got a dog, you can come with your dog. If you got kids, they got plenty of sand dunes to lose their energy. And yeah, just a beautiful day outside. I see you on another exploration. Don't forget to subscribe and high five.